All right, good afternoon. Thanks for being here and thanks for taking the time. In 2008, I took a promotion and I had a fire that didn't go very well. And so one of the things I needed to do is I needed to reevaluate how I was conducting my business and also how we were conducting our business as a shift. And one of the things that I needed to do is reevaluate how we were doing stuff. And so a couple friends of mine, a couple coworkers of mine, we sat down and discussed how were we going to reevaluate and build this up from the bottom. And so what we needed to do is we needed to go all the way back to the beginning and start from scratch. And start, how are we going to deploy inch and three-quarter pre-connects? How are we going to take hydrants? What's going to be our priorities on the fire ground? And how are we going to do that? And one of the things that we looked at was we also took, one of the friends presented the book, Passion of Command. I don't know how many people have read that, but if you haven't read that, please do. Because it gave us evidence and gave us guidance about how we were going to conduct our business. And Colonel B.P. McCoy does a fabulous job, and guess what? The book is short, okay? But it's a fabulous book on leadership and how you prepare your people to go into battle. And if you want to buy that book, go to the Marine Association bookstore, and the proceeds go to charity, I heard. So providing intent. Sometimes providing intent is called different things. There's different definitions. Sometimes it's called leader's intent. Sometimes it's called commander's intent. Sometimes it's called purpose, goals, objectives. Sometimes you hear Simon Sinek say sometimes it's your why, okay? Maybe it's your meaning, your vision, or your end state. And so what I needed to do is I needed to evaluate how I was going to prepare myself to take us into this next realm where we were going and how we were going to improve and become better on the fire ground and better out on the street. So I needed to provide my intent before I asked anybody else how we were going to operate. And so for me, keep it simple, okay? I was going to have 4 things that I was going to focus on. And one of the things at the same time we were talking about this, our fire chief, we were building incident action plans, and we were really focusing on how we were going to operate in our department. And we got a committee together, and he gave us our intent. And basically what it was is he told us that we had permission to be a rescue fire department, okay? And we don't have a large staffing. We're a combination fire department. We have a minimum of 2-person engine companies. And so we don't have a lot of people coming into the fire. So we needed to be very proficient, very effective with what we were going to do when we got there. And so our chief basically gave us permission, his intent, to be a rescue fire department. So he gave us the direction, and he provided us his intent, and then we took that and ran with it. So I needed to figure out how I was going to operate and how I was going to communicate. And one of the other things is, so my first intent was, I'm going to put you in harm's way. So I communicate that to everybody on my shift. If you detail in, we communicate this, okay? I will put you in harm's way. So I had to figure out of how I'm going to best prepare myself and our people for that. And it was creating a mindset. It was creating a mindset every day, expect fire. Every day, expect a rescue. Every day, expect a pin job, okay? And I also needed to understand how this is going to affect the people that I led and the people that I work with. And I needed to get kind of in their mindset and get how I'm going to prepare them and what we're going to do each day. And we really had to triage what we were doing every day. We had to simplify it and break it down and really focus on what's going to kill us and kill the people that we're serving, okay? So preparing ourselves for that and how the people would react and how they're going to understand this is one of the other books we were reading was Lieutenant Colonel Grossman's book on combat. And it talks about the anatomy and physiology. Long book, but it's worth the read. And so that was one of those books, again, to help support what we were doing and how we were going to conduct our business. Okay? So people want 2 things from a leader. That the leaders are competent and that they care. Competence is a lot of times masked by other things. Sometimes egos mask it. Sometimes confidence or cocky masks it. But really what it comes down to is what the people want is that you are competent in your skill set for the job that you have. And that's all it is. That's pretty simple, okay? And our effort should be going towards that. Sometimes I believe that white shirts, mustaches, and fantasy football is more important than making a push down a hallway or being effective at a pin job. So we need to figure out what our priorities are and how we are going to be competent. And check your egos at the door, like some of us have already talked about today. And sometimes competence is masked by command presence. And what is command presence? Command presence, are we supposed to stand taller? Are we supposed to yell? Okay? What are we doing when we talk about command presence? Had the opportunity over a beer talking to a division supervisor, former hotshot, and we were talking about this kind of stuff. And he talked about, and he had a pretty simple statement, but it resonated with me. And what he talked about, he says, if you need command presence, you don't have command presence. And as simple as that statement is, it is very true. A couple years ago, 2014, I had the opportunity to be over at the Carlton complex. And let's talk about caring. New operations sections chief, I was over there as a Div Sup trainee, new operations sections chief came in on the fire. He comes up to me and he says, hey, introduces himself, and he says, hey, Todd, how you doing? What's going on in your division? He said, how can I support you in your division? What do you need? Okay? So he was asking me that rather than telling me. And so what that resonated with me is he cared about what I had to provide. Okay? 3 days later, he comes up to me. He says, hey, Todd. First of all, he's like, oh, he remembered my name, right? And so he comes up to me and says, hey, Todd, how's it going on your division? Is there anything that I can do to help you? And then he asked me, hey, how's your task book going? Do you need any help with your task book? And here we're at the largest fire in Washington State history at the time, and here's the operations sections chief taking the time to inquire about me. And that resonated with me, and that's followed through that whole command structure. So, are you competent, and do you care? Give your best effort. I don't care what your assignment is. Give your best effort. Sometimes we go to do a patient assist. Sometimes we go and we get assigned logistics. Sometimes we get, even when we get assigned RIC, we don't like it. We don't give our best effort. Okay? Patient assist, pub ed events, give your best effort. That's what we're here for. And if I don't have time as an IC or as a battalion chief to think about when you're not giving your best effort. And if you're not, I may just park you, okay? Or send you home. Give your best effort. This is what they want. This is what the customer wants. And we're getting paid to do that very well. So give your best effort. Take care of them. My dad, I get this from my dad. My dad and my mom ran a successful small business for 30 years. And one of the things that resonated working with him in this business is one of the things is he always talked about, hey, take care of them. And it was a real simple, statement that he would have. And he'd just say to his people that he worked with, hey, take care of that customer, take care of Mrs. Johnson. And that's how he went through his business, is he just said, take care of them. And later on, realizing that it's his way of providing his intent. And everybody that he worked with knew what that meant throughout the company. And so take care of them. So not only taking care of the customer, but also taking care of your people, okay? Taking care of the customer. It doesn't have to be a big study of how we're going to reach out and how we're going to improve our service, and we're going to study it and spend thousands of dollars doing that. It's the engine company, it's the ladder company, it's the squad, it's the medic unit reaching out and doing things, carrying groceries for somebody. Just this last week, we had a guy fall off a ladder putting up Christmas tree lights. So what did the engine company do? Stayed while the gentleman was being transported by the medic unit. The engine company stayed and put up the Christmas tree lights. Okay? So take care of them. Take care of the customer. We've previously had where a guy had a stroke. He was out mowing the lawn. Guess what? The engine company stayed behind and finished mowing the lawn, tidied up the yard, and the wife was very thankful. So these little things add up. So take care of the customer. Take care of your people. Make sure that a lot of people have talked about different things today, but take care of your people. Check in on them. Call them. See if they have needs. Okay? And provide for them. Remember, if you're a white shirt, you're a company officer, you're your chief officer, sometimes we got it upside down. I work for them. Okay? I work for them. I work for the engine company, the medic unit, the squad. They don't work for me. And sometimes we need to reevaluate that. So this slide is up here again. I will put people in harm's way. How do I best prepare myself and our people for that? January 25th, 2015, it's a Sunday. We're on shift. Yes, on Saturdays and Sundays we do train, okay? So Sunday, January 25th, 2015, we're going to be doing multi-company operations at a commercial building in our district. So got a couple stations there, and we're going to simulate a commercial structure offensive attack. Got a couple lines going in, and the guys are doing a great job meeting the objectives of the drill, doing good communication, hose lines are going good, everything's going the way it should. So what is the battalion chief going to do? I'm going to screw with you, right? Okay? Make more work, okay? So what I did was I had the nozzle men on one of the lines go down, simulate a Mayday, correct? And so I just went up to him, tapped him on the shoulder, and I said, hey, I need you to go down unconscious, but you're breathing. So he does, begrudgingly, okay? He didn't want, he picked me, so he goes down. So the crews work through the Mayday procedure. They work through extricating him out of the hot zone or the IDLH atmosphere. They work on taking his SCBA off. They work on debunking him. They work on patient packaging. They work on moving him from the hot zone area to the cot. Yeah, we put him on the cot, right? Medics, yeah, your cot got dirty that day, okay? So we moved him all the way from the IDLH on the front porch of this building all the way into the back of the medic unit, and they were driving away when I stopped drill. One of the things that goes into all that is communication. Who has patient care? What additional resources are we taking to the emergency room? Who's driving? That's a big deal, right? And sometimes usually at the state academy or at the drill tower, I know Jim talked to it a little bit before. What do? We come out, we drag in the dummy, and we dump it, all right? And then we go back in and do search. If you don't practice it all the way to when the medic unit is going to the hospital, it's going to be a shit show, okay? So next time you do that, get your cot dirty. Take it all the way through, all right? So 5 minutes later, what we do is, so we get everything picked up, we do a little chalk talk, we talk about it. So we do a chalk talk, we pick up hose, and next thing you know, I'm 5 feet away from one of my company officers. And one of my company officers goes down. And first of all the 8 or 10 guys that are there think I'm pulling another deal, right? But this time I wasn't. So then I'm 5 feet away from this company officer. He goes down face first. And then I'm thinking, okay, he tripped over some hose. So one of our firefighters goes over, hey, you all right? Rolls him over. He's purple. As a battalion chief, I'm standing there. I've seen this happen. And the only thing that I said was man down, man down. And then I had to start backing up and doing my battalion chief stuff and start organizing the response and everything. All I said was man down, and the crews reacted. The crews reacted, CPR was started, shocked him, breathed for him, and within a couple minutes he was saying, stop that. That's a good feeling to have after something like that. So we shock him, CPR, breathe for him. He wakes back up. We immediately transport him to the hospital that's 10 minutes away. And this day, he's back on the line, full duty, as a company officer. So the moral of the story is preparation, giving your intent ahead of time, preparing your crews for when that happens, whether it's a civilian or one of our own, because it gets real quick. Thank you.